University is such a waste of time. It's a waste of time, and I'll tell you why it's a waste of time. I saw the other day a clip of someone, I can't remember who exactly, who said that, let's say, hypothetically speaking, we are given £50,000. You turn 18, you're given £50,000, and you can spend that £50,000 however you choose. If you want to invest, you can invest. If you want to go to university, you can go to university. If you want to save it, you can save. If you want to spend it, you can spend. It doesn't matter. Then he said, who in their right minds would then say, okay, I'm going to use this £50,000 loan to then go to university? Nobody. Okay. So the reason why this entire system even works in the first place is because that 50,000 loan is conditioned upon the fact that you're going to university or that you have to go to university. So you cannot access that loan without entering the education system. Okay. And one of the main reasons that it survived for so long is because of the fact that the education system currently exists in a vacuum. Meaning what? It means that essentially it has no competition. It exists by itself. It is the only way you can get a degree or access a degree, apart from an apprenticeship. But let's just be honest, let's be very, very honest. Apprenticeships are extremely overrated and they're very, very difficult to get. They're not worth the time and effort to obtain. And when you do obtain them, you're essentially a slave working a full-time job and at the same time studying full-time. So you have no life. All that for 25k. No, thank you. Okay. When I was, what was I talking about before? I was talking about how, yeah, so it exists in a vacuum. When it comes to all other sort of things in life, all other products, all other services, they are all exposed to capitalism, so they all have competition, and that competition forces each of their like respective products to improve. When it comes to the education system, because it exists in a vacuum by itself, it's never had to innovate or never had to improve. So it's basically stayed the same for the past, what, 50, 60 years with no improvements. And on top of that, you're getting a worse product because now you're paying a premium. Before, like, let's say 40, 50 years ago, it was either cheap or significant or free. Exactly. So now you're paying what, 9k? It's going up to 10k every year. It's getting higher, higher. By the time I start university, let's say hypothetically I do start, which I won't, I would have to pay 20k. I'm making a prediction right now. In like the next 15 years, I think university prices are probably gonna double. On I wanna use an anecdote, a personal anecdote. So I have a teacher, right? One of my teachers, and they've been teaching for a couple of years now, and they obviously had to get student loans out to go to university because who can afford to go to university nowadays unless you're privileged, right? So they took out their student loans, and they've said that they've not even scratched the surface of the interest on the student loans, let alone the student loans themselves. So they're just trapped in a system of servitude. And people say, oh, well, when I'm 60 something years old, the debts get written off. When you're 60 something years old, you got one foot in the in the grave. So your life's basically over. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. So yeah, man, I just say, look, when it comes to university, if everyone comes together and actively boycotts it, one of two things would occur. One, the entire system would just collapse, meaning that it would no longer exist. Number two, the system would be forced to change, innovate, or become cheaper. That way, it drives some sort of improvements. Otherwise, if people just stay slaves and just follow the system, then you're never going to see change. It's always going to either stay the same or get worse. They're going to keep testing their luck. They'll be like, oh, these people are so stupid. They keep accepting this. Okay, we're going to test the waters. Can we get away with this? Can we get away with that? And all you people are just accepting it like the slaves that you are. Okay, we need change right now in the UK. Things are not looking good for the future generations because not only are we getting cooked when it comes to further education, we're also getting cooked when it comes to house prices. House prices are absolutely ridiculous now, especially if you look at London, for example. London, you get a flat, you probably have to pay 50 grand plus to buy like a flat. Okay, and that's just ridiculous. That's just too much money to spend. Also, prices are going up. I remember we looked at these let's say sweets. They used to be like £1 for these packs, right? Now, because I don't eat that many sweets. I don't eat sweets anymore. I look in these shops. It's like every day the prices are going up. It's like since COVID, yeah, happened. There's now been like two versions of the same world. So you have version one before COVID, when everything was normal, and then version two after COVID, where everything's just changed for the worse. Because now you get these £1 sweets. Now they're like £1.80, nearly £2, and they just keep increasing. And it's just it's ridiculous, man. And that's why there's a large exodus of people leaving the UK. The UK is a failed society. The UK is a finished, failed society. The UK is cooked. Okay, that is just the reality of things. If you want to have a good life, okay, leave the UK as soon as you get your money up. As soon as you finish whatever education you want to do. I'm personally not for further education, but if you want to do that, fine. Once you get money up, regardless, leave the UK as soon as possible. Relocate. If you have a business, relocate. There's so many cheaper countries that you can exploit. Not in that way, but yeah, you know what I mean. There's so many cheaper countries with better tax. Like, bro, the UK tax system is horrendous. If I earn six figures, for example, I'm gonna have to pay 50% of that in tax. That's ridiculous. That's theft. You might as well take my entire wage at that point. And this is why the UK precisely is failing. If you're gonna take 50% of my money, at least ensure the public facilities and services are the best in the world. But they're not. The NHS is rubbish. It's failing. The crime is increasing. Hate crime, knife crime, everything. The roads are getting worse. And it's just like, bro, what are we paying money for, you know? We need to see either massive change or we need to see a mass exodus.